Okay, general entrepreneur tips. This is from my boy Adam, who commented on my video asking for general entrepreneur tips. He wants to start his business in 6 months. I say fuck that. Start your business right now. Uh, you have already in your mind a step-by-step action plan of what you're gonna need to succeed. You learn more as you go along how to make that flexible, how to make your business plan more flexible, but you have to still try to act with precision every single thing that you do. One day you build a God certified business, a business that you basically sell out and sell part of your soul to God to be able to be like a G certified business. And God is God, all three letters. A G represents like you are like part God, right? Especially if you're a CEO, you have to have that spark of God, that intellect within you to be able to manage other people. You earn the maturity to be able to tell other people what to do. You know, some people like Mark Zuckerberg earned their way early on, that people saw him as like a genius. You earn that way through IQ or intellect, or you earn that way through like earning that intellect and that authority. And the fact is no one wants to be led and managed by someone that's younger than them. But by the time you're like 45, think about it this way. You'll be old enough to be able to confidently manage anybody and say like, if one of your employees is 60 years old, you just say, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, bro, but you made the wrong choices with your life. I recommend a life of grind. The grind never stops. That's the life that I follow. It's a hard life. It's a stressful life, but it's a good life. It's a net gain at the end of the day. You know, understand that this is coming from a billionaire. Understand that you'll never be a billionaire. That I got super lucky in my life. I'm not saying you can't do it or it's impossible. If you follow my stuff for a long time, sure as shit, you could even do better than me. You know, business is all about collaboration over competition. I don't believe in competition. I believe in collaboration. Anyone that tries to tear down or destroy anything that I've built will be dealt with in some way or another. I will kill and destroy anything that opposes me in my path. They will be lunch meat. And at the end of the day, when you wake up in the morning, you know, you should be so passionate about your business that when you wake up in the morning, you're automatically driven to work on your business. I assume that, Adam, you have a job right now. And if you're trying to start a business, I assume that you probably start from the similar position, that you probably have a job starting out. Understand what money does. Imagine being a YouTuber and you have like thousands of people who put their eyes on you and they wonder about you and stuff. And then there's some fucking weirdos in the world. You know, especially when you're dealing with people's money, you have to maintain sort of like authenticity, honor, and integrity with everything you do. Don't start in 6 months. Start right now. As soon as this video's over, write down you have a long-term goal. You have a long-term goal, and then you have like generally, like just think about it for 2 seconds about what you could do to bring that long-term goal to the forefront. It's not any mystical, magical secret. It is simply, you know, when you set a long-term goal, the small things tend to fall into place, you know, and you could just assume with your better judgment the things that you'll have to do in order to bring that mission to the forefront. And try to act with precision with everything that you do. And you can make your dreams come true, make your dreams come true, understand that money really is the most useful thing in the world. It's the thing that most men live and die for, and it's a major problem, issue of concern that you should take care of your money situation as soon as possible. But when it comes to starting a business, just start right now, learn as you go, study, man, study. For the next 10 years of your life, I want to see you studying business. Look at my videos, Alex Hormozy, Alex Becker, Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, research people who, you should be studying business a minimum of like 4 hours a day for your first 10 years. That's the best way, so that in 10 years, but then again, you might want to just learn as you go, because in business, there's really not much to it. It's all about like your vehicle, so the Linux operating system, for example, and the Microsoft operating system, they're both great engines to run computers. But to me, it's very obvious that Linux doesn't try to push their operating system to become like one of the main operating systems. I used to have a computer that ran on Linux, and they just kind of accepted defeat as being like the number 3 operating system. Every now and then someone comes out with something that is just as good as the number 1 thing, but the number 1 thing, it all comes down to marketing. So the first thing you do is you create a product. You have an idea for a software or a physical product or a digital product that you want to bring, or a book, or something, anything. It could be anything that's worth money, and get as many people to buy it as possible, says Alex Hormozy. Business, according to Alex Hormozy, who's over $100 million entrepreneur, he says business is all about getting people to buy as many people to buy as much of your product as possible, which I think is accurate. When you get to a certain point, though, I want to give you a glimpse of what it's like to be a billionaire. I more so work on my passions. I have enough money, at least I don't, not right now. I'm a cash broke billionaire, but I am a billionaire. So I have some authority to speak on the subject. I'm maybe not the best guy to look to for entrepreneur advice, but I've been through everything in business. I've done everything at least once. Marketing is the best way, like Facebook ads, marketing is your vehicle to get people to buy your product. All in all, at the end of the day, I studied business for over 40 or 50,000 hours throughout my life. It can all be summed up in basically, you have your product, and then you have to get that product, you got to get people to buy it. You got to get the product in front of customers. You have to make the packaging look really attractive. It has to be a good product, because that's how you get recurring customers. Happy customers equals recurring customers equals more money. And then if you, for example, I've been devoted to business since the age of 3 years old. I'm kind of like the Shaolin monk master of like business, but I'm still only 30 years old. Been doing this for 27 years. Kind of like how the Shaolin monks, they start like doing push-ups and stuff from the age of like 2 or 3 years old. I started working on businesses at the age of like 3 years old. There's no shame if you find your destiny working for someone who owns businesses, but there's a big pride factor in owning your own business. It's just a damn shame that we can't all own our own business. And there's a lot of fucked up shit that can happen when it comes to money. If you only, let's say, you should always like believe in yourself. Just believe in yourself. Believe that your product is not to make money, but it's something that you would use yourself. If you would buy your product, there's other people out there that would buy your product. Search up different business models. You have drop shipping, you have Amazon store, you have private label, you have digital products, you have books, info products, software, hardware. You have, if it's worth money, invent it and just, have the mindset that like it's not going to be easy. We probably want to instill in you the mindset of like, you should be moving between ideas very quickly. I would hate to see one of my students fail in business in their first 5 years. You want to find a product that sells a lot very quickly. Realize that from the age of 21 to the age of 29, I never have had more than like a couple $1,000s in the bank at a single time. But through trading between digital products, basically trading within my portfolio, I've been able to amass over $1 billion in net worth. So there's like dozens of scenarios where you could find yourself in a fucked up situation where I'm basically a billionaire on paper, but I have 93 cents in the bank to be exact. But I have everything I need and want. I have my tobacco, I have, water, I have my vape, I have, it's an empty can of soda, but it was a can of soda before I drink it, Best thing is just get started and learn as you go. Be relentless and don't let the world tell you what you're going to be. You tell the world what it's going to be within reason. And you should be moving between ideas very quickly and just give it your best shot. Within about 5 years, you should find something that you could replace your income from your job if you have a job. Within about 5 or 10 years, you should be making at least like $1 million a year or 6 figures, but that's not a guarantee. And at the end of the day, hey, there's no shame in working a job, but there is pride in owning businesses. And don't be discouraged by how long you think it's going to take. I expected it to take me 25 years to make $100 million. I wound up making over $1 billion in 10 years. But that's with 15 years of a backstory behind that. And success occurs in the mind. The moment you decide that you're given the opportunity to decide, and when you decide that you want to follow the money path in your life, first of all, don't give up your kids for money. That's a big no-no, okay? That's one thing I never did, and I still became a billionaire. You never have to give up your kids for money. That's bullshit right there. It's like, there's so many more important things in life than money. You want to go all in without going over the deep end. And that's really the important thing, is when you make these decisions, think of a decision as like, remember those books that we read as kids? I don't know how old you are, but when I was a kid, we had those books where it was like, oh, if you want to make this choice, skip to page 43. If you want to make this choice, skip to page 69 or 68. And you find your way to the end of the book by making choices. That's kind of what my life is. I don't know what your spiritual system is all about, but success occurs in the spiritual, and starts in the mind, decision making, and overall just start. You have, write down on a piece of paper 10 ideas or 15 or 100 ideas. Pick your top 10 best ideas and just go down the list until something starts making you money.